Hello, welcome to this K-League United podcast extra. I'm Matthew Binns and I'm joined by Peter Hampshire.
Yeah, if people are watching the video, you might notice this lovely traditional Yorkshire Christmas decoration.
I've only just realised it's in the background. I thought it was in the foreground, like ahead of you in front of the camera. I didn't realise it was that big. I thought it was something small dangling in front of you.
No, it's huge. It's a 5-footer. It's my dad's, genuinely, it's my dad's design from back when he was a teacher. And he calls them Mr. Hampshire's danglers. Right. And I've been making them at school all week, so I put some up in my room.
All right. Yeah. Well, very nice. Well, as you can tell, only the patrons get to see Peter's dangler, and we're kind of here because we've actually just finished recording the Christmas podcast, but unfortunately, we weren't able to get to Eulji Luis's Santa's sack for that episode, just because time constraints. That episode is coming out. Well, at the time of recording, probably tomorrow, but it's well over an hour long, and we just needed somewhere else to put some of your questions that had come in. So we're just going to go through them now on Patreon, and there's not really any script for this, or we don't really have a script anyway. I didn't even thought we were scripted up to now, dear. But yeah, this is we're just going to go through them, and we'll try our best to get the answers. And we've kicked Ryan out of the room, and so it's us, it's our expert opinion. So first out of Santa's sack, well, it's Dan Croydon. And it's just a picture of Kim Do-hun and the words, "How did this happen?" I should say Kim Do-hun is holding a trophy. It's quite hard to envisage because normally it's just his head he's holding. But
the Korean FA put a photo up of the choice for us to post, and it had Kim Do-hun in a press conference before the semi-final, I think it was, and he's just like eyeing up the trophy. And I was thinking, can I use that?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna ruin it for everyone and they're gonna lose by 90-minute penalty? So I didn't bother using it. I saved it for the full-time whistle.
Yeah. Well, in the end, it was penalties that saved Ulsan, and fair play to Kim Do-hun. We've bashed him a lot, but he got that team over the line. And Dan wants to know: do we think that what do we think about him taking over Bento before the World Cup or after? Tongue in cheek, I'd hope. I'd really hope.
Yeah. Bento's got his style set on us. We don't want to interrupt that. And also, I'm Bento's official water boy after giving him that water at Gangwon.
So
I don't want to lose my job.
No, well, so for people who don't really follow, who missed that episode of the podcast, Peter got mistaken for Paolo Bento. Not Paolo Bento, sorry. Paolo Bento got mistook Peter for a member of the staff at Gangwon FC, politely turning water down when you went over to say hello.
Yeah.
I don't think you even offered him water. It was like you were just holding it, weren't you? And he just went, "No, thank you."
Yeah, I could have taken the opportunity to put over some hard-hitting questions, but no, I just thought I was the guy with the water.
It must have that look about you.
Yeah.
Anyway, there is one serious question about Ulsan in here. Assuming they weren't serious, who do you think can continue the great work Kim Do-hun did for Ulsan? That comes in from Asri Furman.
Yeah, really difficult because the K-League manager merry-go-round's already in full swing. If you're looking at up-and-coming managers, Park Jin-sop's been snatched by FC Seoul. And as we say loads of times on this podcast, it's a merry-go-round, but not too many options out there. I was looking today when I saw that question at Transfermarkt again, available managers with K-League experience, and you're looking at Jae Young-soo. So I'd cast my net further afield, and going into J-League, the Chinese Super League, Torsten Fink, who has been at Vissel Kobe. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has just left Guangzhou RNF in the Chinese Super League. Some left field names.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're the people we think can continue the great work Kim Do-hun did, but the rumours are saying it's Hong Myung-bo, and I'm not 100% sold on that. That, as you said, that feels like a very merry-go-round signing. Obviously, let's not forget the great work he did with the national team absolutely ages ago. National team, Olympic team. Am I right?
Yeah, that seems to be the problem with that one, doesn't it? Has he got experience of the present K-League?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Asri also wants to know which is likely junior staying or leaving. Well, I have no idea. There is rumours of a Chinese side coming in, a Chinese League One side coming in for him. I actually haven't got the name in front of me, which team was looking at him. But
I know how it's spelt, but I'm not gonna butcher that pronunciation.
Oh, you spell it, and I'll say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. No,
isn't it the one that ends in Yatai?
Oh, Chanchan Yatai.
I think so. I think that's the one that's been linked.
Well, we'll say it's linked, and then we're only disappointed.
If it's not, we'll get Ulsan on the phone. What are you doing touting our players?
Hey, if Ulsan are patrons, then they're more than welcome to complain. But no, yes, no, possibly Chanchan Yatai. It will take a quick little reason. Yeah, no, it's not Chanchan Yatai. Well, we'll cut all that bit out. It's actually Chengdu Xinjiang, which Chengdu's a lovely place. It's lots of spicy food. It's where all the pandas are actually in China. Really nice city. I wouldn't go there to play League One football, mind, but they might have some money for junior. He might fancy it. Who knows? I wouldn't want him to leave, but he's also, he's not in he's at the end of his peak years. He might see one last paycheck. He's just picked up the Champions League trophy. He might just say, well, go and get a bit of money somewhere else, get a payday. But we'll see what happens. We'll come back to Asri in a minute because he's got some questions on John Book, but we'll just dip somewhere else into the mailbag. We have a question in from Dejan Citizen FC Brazil, and they're saying it is a strange off-season regarding transfers with a lot of leagues still going. Do you expect K-League to have less international transfers and more domestic moves this window?
Well, I think a lot of the international transfer windows seem to be sticking to the same dates. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue is going to be with logistics, isn't it?
Yeah.
But judging by the managerial changes this winter already, it seems there could be a lot of domestic transfers within the K-League. And talking from a Guangzhou perspective, our players are getting linked left, right, and the centre. It seems like no one's going to be left coming the new season, and Kim O-young is going to have a really tough job on his hands.
Well, speaking of domestic transfers, we did have a question income on Instagram via Instagram stories, and I'm about to brush up on my Korean here, but it's from Moyong 2, and they're asking, what do we think about the rumours of Uros Jeric to Suwon Samsung Blue Wings?
Yeah, it's a wild rumour, that, isn't it? He's not done much in 2020, just a handful of appearances, 1 goal. I mean, he's only 28, so you'd say that's the prime for a footballer, but he's not had the best year. No,
and he got 9 goals last season, but that was over. Well, he got 9 goals at Gyeongnam, he got 4 at Gangwon, so he got 13 goals last season, but he got 24 the season before, which is what he's been dining off. But yeah,
I mean, Suwon do need a striker for next season. It seems like Taggart's leaving, so they do need someone.
It feels like going for a player that hasn't done the business this year in K-League 2. I don't know what he will achieve in K-League 1, but as people who, when they've listened to the full podcast, whether this is before or after, we haven't we'll have to work out on the schedule, but we did praise Park Geun-hye quite heavily. Spoilers. I don't think it's a spoiler to say we thought he'd done a very good job, and maybe he knows what he's doing here. Maybe this is what maybe this is what he fancies. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we have another question in, and this one's from Todd Wild.
Your mic's gone again.
Oh no!
The bee came back from the podcast. The buzzing sound.
Wait a minute. Is it still buzzing?
Yeah, it's still going. Yeah.
It's not okay.
It's buzzing in here, man.
No, I'm hearing the sound, mate. I'm hearing the sound. Right, here we go. This is the least professional. I don't know what's happened to the microphone here. This is what happened.
No, it sounds good now.
Back. All right. Well, you might
You
lose.
sound like Paul Neal on the podcast singing away.
I got mistaken for him today in the in one of the replies to the K League tweets, and I've just left it because well, as long-time listeners will know that Paul regularly gets blamed for things I say, gets blocked for things I say, and well, it's nice to see that I'm getting the compliments coming his way as well. So we'll just leave that one. Yeah. Right then. We've got Todd Wild. It appears that Gangwon are going to fill their foreigner quota next season after years of an exclusively Korean roster, with Masa Ishida and Ashmatov, your fellow at Gwangju, both likely to be moving. Which other foreigners currently in the K1 or K2 would you like to see move to the mountains?
Yeah, Ashmatov would be a good signing for them. Top of a lot of the stats. If you look at the defensive stats, in terms of another one at Gwangju, Willian would be a good signing on the wing. He's been, I know people have talked about him, but I still think he's been under the radar a bit. Really creative and powerful winger. Romelu down at Busan in K2. Does he want to stick in the second division, or is he capable of stepping up again? It didn't. I don't know. He's a bit disappointing, wasn't he? Last year, didn't really shine as much as we wanted him to. And also, if Jason Davison fancies staying around in Korea, then Ulsan have got a lot of left backs. Maybe fancies a change of scenery.
Yeah, they're all quite possible choices. I like that thread has decided that fellow listeners to the podcast, John Christian would be a suitable signing due to the mountain ranges on offer there in Gangwon-do. Yes. Well, it's the end of the year, end of season podcast. We may as well reveal that the last voice that everybody hears each week is John Christian shouting Kim Shin-uk, because it was recorded me holding a phone in the air in the middle of the north stand in Jeonju, and John being very audible nearby. I'd actually gone about 4 rows away from him, and he still managed to get himself on it. But yes, no, good question there about Gangwon. Finally, well, we'll go back. Asri has a couple more questions. He wanted to know what we think of Jeonbuk head coach Kim Sang-shik and what will he bring to the table. The thing is, we don't. I mean, because we haven't seen him manage, we don't know his actual style. But I think Jeonbuk have a philosophy. It's more any manager can kind of come in and just fit into the Jeonbuk way, so to speak. And if anybody personifies that, it'd be Kim Sang-shik, who's been there for 7 seasons as a manager. He's been there for a while as well as a player, so he knows the club. That's the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer excuse, I guess, at Manchester United. But Kim Sang-shik banging on about the double every week. Yeah. But I think that Jeonbuk kind of have it's not like Jeonbuk have to be overhauled. So they already have like the setup. The board. They have a director of football. They already have they've already picked their players for next season. In fact, to be honest, I don't know how much say Jose Moraes had on any of those signings. I reckon he had a say on Gustavo, probably a bit on Barrow, but the rest of it were all very Jeonbuk signings.
I don't see the point of bringing in a big name just for the sake of it when you've got that progression.
Yeah, it just seems natural in this case. And I know there are examples where we're all a bit wary when a new manager comes in who's a bit fresh about hasn't got much experience, but that's a lot of experience for an assistant. And yeah, it's about time he probably had a shot at himself. And worst comes to worst, well, you might have a new title winner, but not as long as Ulsan's in the league. I
thought you were going to say if worst comes to worst, we can bring Che Kang-hee back.
Oh yeah, that too. He could. How long's he got left at Shenhua? But I'm sure he's got a while yet. I've heard rumours that I saw one rumour linking Jose Moraes to Shanghai SIPG, but that's gone very quickly. But imagine you had Che Kang-hee and Jose Moraes playing the Shanghai Derby with Kim Shin-uk and Lopez lining up against each other. It's Jeonbuk fans' dream, really. But yeah, no. And then the final one from Asri, because we had quite a few in this week, and we may as well go through them all because this is an extended mailbag. It seems an exodus happening is Busan. Do you think Perez is already up against it, or are the higher-ups willing to be patient on what he intends to build?
Well, yeah, it's a shame we don't have Todd on here, isn't it? No, Tom. I think Busan just be so frustrated that they finished bottom of that pile at the bottom last season, because they play some nice stuff at times, and just seems to be a bit of disarray behind the scenes. They've got the Kim Jong-uk, the general manager, who came from Gwangju. He lasted about 10 days. So I don't know if he was involved in recruiting Perez, but if he was, then he's already gone.
Yeah, it is quite worrying that they've already had upheaval at bordering level after already upheaving it once. So who knows really with that one? That is just one to watch. It's complete shot in the dark. He hasn't had.
One thing, I don't think Busan will be running away with the league going down. Or I don't think they'll be even in the top 2. They could be in for a season of transition.
Oh, for sure. I think they're going to lose a lot of players. The vultures are already circling. So yeah, it's going to be odd for Busan. So yeah, I think they're going to have patience with him. I think he's been brought. I've seen people say. I think Todd has been saying. I've put his name to it now, so he's been saying it. Probably hasn't, but that he's going to probably concentrate on youth and things, and could be a good way forward for Busan. But that doesn't quickly yield results. That's more of a long-term project. So who knows what happens with Busan. Anyway, we'll close Santa's sack there. Yeah, thank you for all your questions in this week. This is the last mailbag of the year, and so thank you for all your support, and thank you to our patrons as well, who are the ones listening to this. But it's a bit weird not signing off with trying to tell people to join the Patreon when I'm already preaching to the converted.
Should we say it anyway?
Yeah, well, there are other tiers available, but no. Thank you again for all your support in this. What's been a difficult year for everyone. The support has been greatly appreciated, and we hope you've enjoyed watching the K League this year. For those who it's their first season, and I hope they've enjoyed it as well if you've watched many seasons prior. And we're going to be back next season with season 4. We've got some pre-season shows being currently worked on at the moment. They might be with you in January. But as for us, I'm Matthew Binns. That's Peter Hampshire. And, Merry Christmas and happy holidays.